should have a good childcare support system ready, at least if not 6 weeks or 8 weeks, then at least 4 weeks before you join, so that you've settled in. If let's say your mother-in-law or mother has to do it, then you make sure that the child starts going there. You are comfortable, the child is comfortable, they are comfortable, everybody involved is comfortable, right? Or whatever needs to be done. I've heard things like that. My family doesn't allow me to have a nanny because according to them, it is my job. Really?
And nourishment comes in just like you mentioned food. I think nourishment also comes in an emotional forms also.
Yeah,
That term you mentioned.
mother shaming.
Yeah. So I think yes. Thank you so much for bringing that up because
It's
there.
not,
How can
it's not allowed. It's
yes.
not allowed. How can you think that you're like, of course you have maternal instincts. What? See how you treat other people. Are
Hello and welcome, Nidhi ma'am. I'm so glad to see you once again. I'm happy to have you once again on another episode with a new and very important topic of balancing maternity and work life integration. Just wanted to know a little bit about your research that you have published recently. So, yeah, a
yeah.
little around what was the reason and the inspiration behind researching on this particular topic of balancing act reintegration of mothers returning to work.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you and your smiling face. It's so energetic and so refreshing. So uh, thank you so much for inviting me, or rather me inviting myself in that sense of it. To answer your question, Shivani, nothing motivated. It was a very opportunistic space. I was working with a public sector, organization for their returning mothers, and we were focusing on supporting them to find a certain amount of balance. Especially, the brief was that can I help them to have a um, their emotional and mental health well-being in place. I don't know why the reason was felt by that particular organization, but what I understood was that they felt that there was a need to be able to bring that support. So I was working with them, and I worked with about 450 odd women over 6 months. And during that time, I happened to have a conversation with International Coaches Federation Mumbai Charter's research chapter, and through that discussion, we started talking about women and the balancing act that they need to perform. And that's when we said, "Arey, we have a captive audience. Why don't we at least try and understand where they're coming from, okay? Rather than me conjuncturing whatever I think. कि मुझे जो लग रहा है वो मैं बता रही हूँ." And that's how it became International Coaches Federation, Mumbai Charters, and mine associated effort. So that's how it started. If you just want to, and it's not really a research, it's a more of a survey, because there are only 108 participants who actually decided to take part in it, and you can't force anybody. Um, uh, the base of it was, as you know, in all research, the hypothesis is that is whatever, there is a situation, and we need to figure out how women, or so that's how it got going.
So I was looking at like studying the research paper thoroughly, just looking at it from a mental health perspective aspect. So one thing which caught my eye was the statistics around the emotional health and the mental health aspect, which was that only 21% of the women rated that their emotional well-being was good. The
Yes,
health
yes,
state was
yes,
significantly of a higher
yeah,
concern.
yeah,
The rest,
yes,
almost,
yes, yes,
I mean, just 20,
80%,
yeah,
79%.
29% is so high. And
Yeah,
I mean, I was just, I wasn't surprised because yes, there is a lot of lack of support for from not just organizations but at home as well. Because even I have came across few of the clients who were discussing about how they felt that okay, they will get back to work and they want to, but again they couldn't sustain that, and then there was a drop. So yes, so a little bit about what emotional challenges mothers could face when they re-enter, like while you were surveying. So what were the common challenges that you noticed?
See, the common challenges remain that balance. How will I do this and how will I do that? That's standard across. Okay. And what is interesting is, though my white paper might be very limiting in terms of its people participation, so to speak, when I have looked at some of the research that have been published in this space, the data still remains almost the same. Whether you are talking to 4,000, 5,000 people or you're talking to five people, the data is approximately the same. Okay. So the challenge is at many, many levels, Shivani. It's not as simple as, it's not linear. It's very complex.
Right, right.
Okay. So, but to simplify and answer directly to what you're asking, the common theme remains, how will I manage both? Okay. And the guilt that comes by not managing it, or perceiving that I'm not managing it.
Hmm.
Perceiving. They're
Hmm.
managing it, but they're perceiving that they're not managing. So that's what. And then when you are in a space where you are in guilt, now guilt is a learned emotion. चिल्ड्रन डोंट हैव गिल्ट, राइट? बच्चे जो पैदा होते हैं उनको गिल्ट थोड़ी होता है, उनको हम सिखा देते हैं कि तुमने आइसक्रीम खाई, गंदे बच्चे हो, तो वो धीरे धीरे सीख जाते हैं. So guilt is a learned emotion, and with that emotion, it snowballs into a lot of other things. I'm not good enough. I'm not a good mother. I am not able to provide. I am very selfish. All kind of, or anger. Why do I have to do this? So it has a lot of complex emotions that is going on, and hence the mental health becomes an issue.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, guilt is, of course, one of the major concern, as you mentioned. Um, and also, I could see other aspects revolving around emotional health, where, as you mentioned, that there were self doubt. I mean, a lot of self doubt, and also um, lacking that sense of identity once again, because we are like, I mean, the woman is taking a break, a leave for a certain period of time, and then the pressure, the stress to bounce back and be productive in a similar manner, or giving the performance which is the same, which was like, I mean, I just wanted to say that there is also a lot of performance pressure, that she was performing very well before that, and wants to continue with the same the same phase and the same level she was before. So there are other things as well. So so how can this be addressed with from organizations perspective?
You mean how women can be integrated? Is that the question?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I will look at it in two parts.
Okay.
One is that reintegration needs to be a thought through step by step process.
Okay.
3 महीना खत्म हो गया, maternity leave खत्म हो गया, 6 महीना खत्म हो गया, and I will come back to work. That's what is happening in most cases, right? So when a woman is coming back, a professional working mother is coming back, let me address that from her perspective. First is that there needs to be an acceptance of situations being changed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can you fire on all cylinders? Yes, you can. Uh, and yet that it's a balancing act, right? Because there is an increase in responsibility. And I'm not talking gender here. For any parent, there is an increase in responsibility with another child, human being coming in. So I believe that a returning mother needs to redefine her career success. What it was before for
Mm.
her needs to be redefined. Okay. Again, not to say that she should become less ambitious. No, not at all. I am saying how she had perceived it to how now it needs to go can be two different things. And so stock needs to be taken. A reassessment needs to be taken. And whatever that decision is up to you. Each one's neither right nor wrong. I think that's an individual's responsibility, a career professional's responsibility, irrespective of a man or a woman, especially for a woman who's coming back with so much more added responsibility. For the organization, first of all, most of it is lip service. I was looking at the data, I will just tell you. In industries like Reliance and TCS, um, this is 2014 data. Okay? It says that in 2012, it was about 58% women who came back after maternity. In 2014, it went out to 67%. It's good. Uh, Now, the interesting part is this, that companies like Reliance and TCS, who are considered to be the stalwarts in the industry and, uh, more humanistic in that sense of it, I don't know, but I'm assuming that that is how it is. They reported 99.9% return of mothers.
Okay.
So I'm giving you the all India return figures, but these companies reported 99.9%. Very good. However, the underlying line that nobody reads is that how many retained?
Absolutely.
How many retained in that? Now, the current data is that I think in 2018, there was a mass-based research done in India. I'm talking only of India, okay, where they say that 73% women, okay, leave. The data says that 73% of the Indian women leave their jobs after giving birth. Now, from अब बताओ 73% मतलब कितना हो गया 27% women only come back. And in 2014, the figure was showing 67%. So there is a discrepancy. So let's go with the more latest research. Okay. Only 27% women come back, 73% drop out. Right? मतलब 100 में से 27 औरतें वापस आती हैं, working women. And out of that, nearly 48%, 27 का half कितना हुआ? About 17 women. Correct? Right? 48% of these women quit within the first 4 months of returning. That means you are left, actual returning mothers is about 14 women out of 100, approximately. है ना? मैं मैथ्स करके मतलब बता सकती हूँ कि 27% का 47 कितना होता है and all of that, but I don't think, I think you get the point.
Yeah, sure.
And people who are listening to it also get the point. It is shocking. It is shocking. And you know what is the worst thing? When I talk to my male colleagues and male friends, okay, we are all 50 plus people who have grown up children, they turn around and say, क्या बात कर रही हो? Seriously? अभी भी? Coming back to your question. They are quitting, of course, not because the organization is not supporting. Of course not. I'm not going to say that at all. However, organization can play the role of keeping them. Okay? What is happening? There is so much, forget about the fact that there is no structured reintegration program and their career development program. Chalo, wo bhi chhod do. You can say that it's a professional and she's responsible. Why should we do? Chalo, wo bhi maan liya. But what about the mindset? An organizational culture is responsible for that. The number of colleagues, men and women, who treat returning mothers like she's a fragile thing who's going to break. Okay? Her first duty, according to them, lies with the child. So she should not be sitting in the office. She should not be given more responsibility. That's a mindset. And that mindset, the organizations need to bring in. Very recently, not even a year ago, in November, a client of mine, she had a baby. She's gone back to work about 2-3 months back. Okay? So I had gone to visit her in Hyderabad, and young couple, she has suffered a lot of health challenges. I won't go into that. So keeping that in mind, I was asking her husband कि तुम क्या कर रहे हो? तुमने छुट्टी ली? कैसे करेगी ये अकेले? ऐसे करके मैं उससे छेड़ करके उससे बात कर रही थी। तो कहता है, मैम, he was working with an MNC before, okay, and he had just shifted, I think, about 6-8 months to an indigenous company, IT guys. He says, मैम, उसमें होता था ना मैं, तो I would have gotten the paternity leave. In this company, they said, what are you going to do? बच्चा सिर्फ एक आदमी पैदा करता है? नहीं ना, दो पेरेंट होते हैं ना उस बच्चे के। तुमने कैसे डिसाइड कर लिया कि इट इज ओनली मदर? So that mindset reflects in the organization. And so I think the most important thing an organization can do to help integrate the returning mothers is educate their staff. And it's monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
So if there are senior people who have women who are returning, they need to take the initiative to walk up to them, not treat them like with fragile dolls, talk to them, ask them, what can you do? How can you do? How do I make this better so that you can continue with your career? And that starts to percolate down to the lower levels as well, from the top bottom. This is not a bottom up. This is a top down. So that I think Shivani, an organization needs to.
Yeah.
Right? And then, of course, once you have that kind of an approach where you want to have a planned way, then there are a lot of interventions, etc., that needs to be done with L&D, HR, your own supervisor that needs to then come into in a very systematic manner. At least a 1-year program needs to be there to handhold them. These women are reporting to say neither my salary nor promotions have happened. Right? I had an interesting argument from somebody. They said, but if somebody has just come 6 months ago, how do they expect to be promoted? Fair enough. You will go into that cycle, right? Absolutely. Chalo, I will negate that data completely. But have you had that conversation with that woman to ask her how it is going to go? That also doesn't happen, no? And that's a problem. Because, yes.
Yeah, I agree. Like educating and changing the mindset is really a big responsibility which has to come
Absolutely.
down. I agree. Like couldn't
Yes.
agree more here. And then when you mentioned that the reintegration program, so there was a
Yeah.
concluding part where the returnship and the mentorship and coaching programs were mentioned, which can actually help and guide those who are returning
The
back.
new mothers, returning professional mothers. Yes. Yeah.
Right. So,
Hmm.
how this returnship program and how this mentorship program can guide, like, if you have any experience, like you said that you already have an experience. So, how does it work?
Yeah. 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 So my experience that I have was not a planned approach. The organization decided to support, which was, well, better than nothing. Uh, However, when I have spoken to them, now the research data might be only from 108, but remember, I've spoken literally individually out of 450 women to at least 300 women. Apart from the group counseling work that I was doing, I have spoken to them. And it's a joint approach that needs to come to return to the organization to work from the family, from your personal space and the organization. So a program needs to be put in space, as I said, for almost a year, which needs to start, let's say, about 3 weeks prior to the woman joining back, the professional joining back, when she comes back and says, okay, you know what, first of, let's say, July is when I'm going to be coming back. This program needs to kick in 3 weeks before that, in terms of an HR having a conversation with her, hiring her immediate supervisor having a conversation with her, getting her maybe once a week, maybe three such meetings can happen. Okay? Whatever you plan. And then she comes in. Look, it has to be more than just, hey, welcome back, you had a baby, show us your pictures. It has to be more than just that, please. Yeah. And that's what happens. Your desk is decorated and everybody like, wow. No. Yes, that's a good part. But so when she comes in, right, you need to then kick in to, by the time she's prepared to see how her team is. Now, understand, she's gone for about 3, 4, 5 months, in some cases 6 months, and the team has moved ahead. She doesn't know where she fits in. I was working with a a woman who was pregnant and was about to go on the maternity leave. And one of the concerns she was that, how will I come back? My team would have moved on. And this is into an organization which was actually hand holding her a little bit. But those fears are there. Since I was the coach, I was able to kind of address a few things, and we could chalk out a few things that she could do to come back and reintegrate. So there needs to be a step by step, what is the team doing? Where will you be? What will you be doing? How will you start integrating yourself? Bringing a coach in about 2 months or 3 months, and I'm saying bringing it in and making it mandatory. Not saying I have an EAP program, so please go and log in when you need to know. You tell her you need to go through this. You will go through this. You put the coaching, whether it is one-on-one and whether it is coaching, counseling, whatever, that's something that one can figure out. But that program needs to be in place, whether in group, whether one-on-one, doesn't matter, but it needs to be in place, and she has to go through it. Because it is in the interest of the organization to handhold her so that she can grow. Now, through that process, it is not just addressing their emotional challenge, it's also helping them to plan their next month. So let's say once a month or twice in a month you meet. So let's say a 3-4 month coaching program which is in place. It's already 6 months that has happened. Right. So there is an integration program. The supporting teams are involved in it. The managers are involved in it. Once that coaching period is over, maybe then you do a group check-in or whatever every month or something like that. Make sure that it is happening until at least she is eligible for her first appraisal. By the time she's clear, okay, I've reached here and now I can jump. The gestation period can be there from 6 to 12 months. So it has to be a very thought through process. Whichever way you do it, it doesn't matter whether you do internal, workshops or whatever, but you got to do this. Right? Think about it. A lot of organizations have retirement plans. So people who are going to be retiring, let's say in 2026, okay, their transition plan will start from January 2025. It includes their spouses as well. In good program 1 year, so they will have once a month a meeting, every other week they will have a coach available, they will have their spouses coming in, they will have mental health well-being, they will be talked about, after your retirement, what are your possibilities, what can you do, alternate, all of that they take 1 year to help you transit. So why not for a mother? I think it is far more, uh, not to negate any transition in terms of retirement. It's also a very big event in somebody's life, but so is parenthood, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think when you say returnship, it needs to be done at least minimum 6 months program, starting at least 3 weeks before she comes. When I was listening to these women, it started to dawn on me where I was. I don't know whether there is a word called mother shaming. Maybe I coined it. I don't know. I have never felt, I have always felt mother shamed. Uh, on one part, I am not very motherly. I'm not very fond of babies. I don't have such maternal instincts. Okay. So I'm not able to often empathize with those who have. But the world around me tells me that that's wrong. I have to have maternal instincts. I have to have that. So that was one part of it that I think ate at me. Uh, and hence perhaps, and as I've grown up, I've realized that I made a lot of mistakes, and yet intuitively now I know that I did few things right. But as a mother, when my daughter was growing up, we were very strict parents. I worked. There was a time for almost 5 years. I left home at 8 and I came back home at about 9:30. I barely saw my daughter. And only her father attended all her functions and things like that. It was when I was going through this program, not the research, the program, I started to realize I have been mother shamed for my choice. I made a choice to have a career. My mother is a career woman. She's a doctor. Um, I don't know what she went through. I have no idea. But I know that I was mother shamed. And I was carrying that burden in myself, like a big, I can still feel it on my chest right now. Okay? And it's only when I started going with it with them that I realized that I was carrying this for the last 30 years. That is the kind of pressure
Mm.
that this society, our so-called loved ones, put on us, our colleagues, our peers, without realizing they put it on us. I heard one statement: have you raised your daughter for you to know how it is to raise a child? My daughter was for the first 2 years living with my mother. That it still haunts me. She's a beautiful girl. She's an adult, independent, and all of that. But it's taken me 32 years, 30 years to know that, she's turned out. All parents make mistakes. All of them. Nobody will get it right.
Yes,
Nobody.
of course.
Uh, but to carry that kind of burden within you, to feel that you are incompetent, that you are selfish, that you are making choices which is not pro you,
Mm.
should
Mm.
not be there. No woman, no human should be going that, right? Why should a working mother go through it when a working father doesn't go through? See how interesting it is. We say working mother, but we don't say working father. We take it for granted कि आदमी तो है, काम तो करेगा ही ना, औरत तो छोड़ सकती है. So it runs far more deeper, Shivani, than just an organization. But at least an organization can step in to support their profession, create a psychological safety for them, a
Mm.
net for them, not just provide a crèche service. Yes, crèche is very important. And that's if it is provided on the premise, wonderful. But there are so many other things you can do to integrate these great professional women, I mean, great talent they have. But it's wasted because nobody wants to nurture it.
Yeah. Mm. First of all, I would deeply, I want to appreciate that you shared your personal experience. And the second thing was about that term you mentioned.
Mother shaming.
Yeah. So I think, yes, thank you so much for bringing that up, because deep down, I think there are a lot of women who might feel it that way,
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
express it because नहीं बोल सकते
It's
हैं.
not,
How can
no, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. How can you think that you're like, I've had men and women tell me this. Of course, you have maternal instincts. What? See how you treat other people. Are, why my caring for, let's say you, if you're my friend, is very different from my wanting to have a child. I mean, they're two different things altogether.
coming back to the aspect of work, workspace integration for new working women, new mothers coming back as a working professional. So as you mentioned that it's aspect of not just, I think, inclusiveness, that is of course one way of looking at it, but second thing, as you mentioned, the talent getting wasted.
I'll tell you something. So the
Mhm.
organization that I was working with has a full-fledged wellness EAP program running on their platform and things like that. Okay? But the biggest thing that these women started to come and say was that they started to realize there were other women like them in the organization.
Mhm.
Okay, and the sense of camaraderie, the sense of support. Uh, a number of times I heard somebody or the other in some branch or the other saying, I hope it would be okay if I reach out to you all. And everybody saying, showing a thumbs up, saying yes, because it's all online. Saying, yes, yes, of course, there is this group, you can definitely reach out to me or whatever. Whether they did or not, I don't know anymore. But the that is so helpful, Shivani, that there are other women who are having the same thing. And then I can take the support and we can together, I'm not alone
Mhm.
in this. And on one side, it was very interesting and empowering to see that. At the other side, it also broke my heart to say that this particular woman, she needs, I mean, how lonely she must have felt. That she couldn't even go to her own loved ones to say that I'm feeling this way. It is her job. Her job, then fine, then we'll make her quit. Now she will sit at home and take care of your child. But you're not doing that. You are telling her to go and work. You are complaining and giving her this thing ki how obliged she should feel, I'm taking care of your child, but we will not get an outside help to support her. And of course, in all of this, uh, where is the father? So it's not, it's this is not just about an organization. Okay, it's not as simplistic, because there's a lot more, in fact, that happens on the other front. But we can't do whatever we're not. But at least the organizations can support these women, working mothers.
Absolutely. Just like we say equity. I think that is also mentioned.
Yes, yes, yes,
So not everyone is starting from the same line. So I think
yes.
maternity leave is somewhere, I mean, they deserve a break and they take it, and then again, trying to bounce back, perform the same
Yeah, yes,
that they had performed earlier. So
yeah,
on that note, um, आपने ये भी मेंशन किया कि सेल्फ असेस करना किस तरीके से जरूरी है वुमेन को व्हेन दे आर getting back to work. So just few pointers I would like you to mention around that कि और क्या कर सकते हैं, some more guidelines, like जैसे आपने mention किया कि coaching and seeking help is also another aspect. So yes.
yeah, yeah. But that's not the common aspect. I would want, according to me, almost like you have a doctor, you should have a therapist. You should check in, counselor every month.
Right.
I hope in my lifetime I see that. Uh, so as a returning mother, the first step that you need to do when you have decided that I am going to go back to work for whatever reasons, okay? But once you have decided, the first step is to find a good nanny. अब उसको तुम जो भी शब्द में बोलना चाहते हो, चाइल्ड केयर फैसिलिटी, नैनी, जो भी है, मतलब whoever is that person who's going to take care of your child. Well, if it's your own mother and mother-in-law, um, you need to have that same conversation that you will have with a nanny that you will hire, so that you are reassured that your child is looked after the way you want them to. Okay, I'm sorry. Uh, your mothers might know better. Your mother-in-laws may know better. They think they know better because they've raised children, and yet you are a mother and you have a right to certain things, right? Like I had one of the things with my parents, that when you will not put my daughter in the front seat of the car. Okay. And the second was that I did not know any better though, that when you take her out, you will put her in diaper. Uh, you can have certain things and you can talk to them about it. So you should have a good childcare support system ready, at least, if not 6 weeks or 8 weeks, then at least 4 weeks before you join, so that you've settled in. If, let's say, your mother-in-law or mother has to do it, then you make sure that the child starts going there. You are comfortable, the child is comfortable, they are comfortable, everybody involved is comfortable, right? Or whatever needs to be done. So I think that's the crucial part, because one of the thing that really worries women is that वो मेरे बच्चे को बुखार होगा, वो भूखा होगा, होगी ये जो भी, right? But so that you take time, okay, to invest in it. It's really an investment, not an expense. So that part needs to be done. Second thing I think that is very important, Shivani, is to connect openly with your spouse or partner. Uh, Look, returning to work in whichever way it is, whether it is for maternity reasons or your sabbatical or whatever reasons, it's a transition for the family as well, not just you. Okay. And especially when there is a child involved, the responsibilities have gone up. है ना? So it becomes very important, I think, to talk to your spouse about it openly, about this new role that you are going to be playing, both of you are playing, the expectations that you have out of it, the division of labor that needs to happen. Maybe before the child came along, it was okay, you came in and you cooked and you did this and you did that, but now that might have to change. When you come in, you may not want to cook. You may want to, spend the time with the baby. So then what happens to cooking? How are we going to manage it? I had a working mother who said, my husband doesn't allow me to hire a cook. What do I do? I have, she had two kids, young ones, of course, because this was the second maternity after which she was coming back. So I said, you tell your husband ki no khana, because you can't manage it. I just said it jokingly. Okay. She actually did it. And then by the time we came back to the next session, she says, ma'am, my husband is helping me now. But it shouldn't come to that, right? That she goes on a hartal and says, I won't cook. So the point is, have that conversation with your partner. Um, Understand the emotional shifts. Find time. to spend at least once a week a little intimate time together, because it's a partnership. You
Right.
know, you need to build it with awareness and empathy into the new space that everybody is getting into.
Hmm. Hmm.
And third thing that I mentioned earlier is um, redefine your success in this new role, in this new environment. Uh, it's possible that you're not returning to pick up where you left off.
Hmm.
Okay, you were younger, you were different. Perhaps you are coming back as somebody who's wiser, more responsible, more resilient. Um, Maybe you understand that how you were looking at progress, sorry, as success before is different how you look at it today. Maybe you might ease off the pressure and just look at progress every day and ask yourself, what does good enough look like for this period? Uh, so yeah, I think these are the three specific parameters I would say that a returning mother should take care of. I
Absolutely.
think it's a fairly holistic approach,
Yeah,
in
sure.
all aspects. The
Aspects.
baby, the spouse, your relationship, as well as you and your relationship with yourself. I think that's the balancing act that you need to have.
Right. And also, I just wanted to add one more thing, like understanding the awareness aspect and looking at it from priority क्या है किस टाइम पे क्या प्रायोरिटी है एंड देन फोकसिंग ऑन दैट ऑन इन दैट फेजेस मतलब कभी कभार ऐसे हो सकता है कि मे बी देयर इज अ वर्क प्रायोरिटी एंड देन यू हैव टू प्रायोरिटाइज ऑन दैट मे बी देन चाइल्ड नीड्स यू इन
Yeah,
फॉर
you will have to. Yeah, yeah, correct.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So I've had those questions when my child is equal and my career is equal. What do I do? And my answer in that case is in that moment, what is the priority?
Okay.
Let's say that you need to. There is a sudden meeting that has come up, which needs to be prepared for tomorrow, and it's already 5 o'clock, and
Hmm.
you need to sit. If your career is important, if your responsibility is important, you manage this by requesting your childminder, your support system to exist,
Yeah.
right? As I said, this is an investment. You pay extra for to that person or request, right? And do what needs to be done. Don't mix the two. Okay? It's it's very important, and I want this message to go through your platform, Shivani, to women who are listening in. It's not You're not selfish when you look after yourself. It's your right. Because if you cannot look after yourself, then you cannot look after the loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And if you will go back, if you will go back to your grandmothers and they will tell you, even to breastfeed, you need to eat well. You need to eat well so that you can nourish the baby, right? That principle continues to hold.
And nourishment comes in just like you mentioned food. I think nourishment also comes in an emotional forms also,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that we are in a proper state of mind and everything is looked after holistically.
Uh, I would also like to kind of say that um, organizations need to normalize flexibility
Right.
without, without any guilt. Uh, that the outcome is more important than the face time. Face time meaning the amount of actual time physically a person, is present at work. It needs to be more of an outcome driven. And if the person, if the working mother professional is able to deliver that, that should be okay. So supporting that is very important. Flexibility is normal. And training the senior managers and peers for
Mm.
empathy,
Mm.
uh, where they are not chided or not made comments about, they're included in high pressured responsibility if they need to,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, so you can always have that conversation with them before you decide on their behalf to, uh, you know, um, okay, it is a mother and she needs to go home. Don't do
Right.
that. So organizations, of course, one is, of course, reinstatement with a structured program. flexibility needs to be seen as something normal. And it can be extended to anybody, not just a returning mother. Anybody can be in that space who might need that, you know. Uh, and the mindset change is
Hmm.
very, very important for the senior managers.
Of
They're,
course.
they're they're also doing their best, of course.
Right. So, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you, Shivani.
conversation. I am so glad and happy that we could have another conversation around such an
Me
important
too.
topic. And yes, I would like to mention here that Nidhi ma'am was a guest before as well. So, if you and we have talked about emotional resilience there. So, please
Yes.
do go and watch that episode as well. And ma'am, I also had a psychologist who was working for new mothers on this episode on this show. And then there was the episode where she was talking about the prenatal as well as postnatal care and support. And I could
Yes.
see how similarities there were when you were mentioning the support and care and the way she mentioned it. So yes, a holistic approach, working everyone working together can be a great thing for
Of
new
course. Of course.
mothers, for their emotional well-being. So yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining, and thank you so
Most
much
welcome.
for your time.
I am grateful that you gave me the space. I'm so grateful. If this if you and I as psychologists can take it to the world and make it a little better, I think that's what. So I would really like to find more spaces where I can talk to working mothers. And yeah, so thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.